Hello everybody, thanks very much for tuning into my How to Play Vindicator video. I'm going to keep this short and sweet, and let's get right into it. But not before, quick word from today's sponsor. No, just kidding, I don't have any sponsors. As a matter of fact, YouTube does not give me any AdSense or ad revenue from my videos. The reason that they don't do that is because I don't have 500 subscribers. You may have seen an ad on this video, but all of that money gets pocketed by YouTube. They don't give me a penny of that. So if you would like to support the channel and would like to see me get the AdSense that I deserve for my videos, please help me get to my goal of reaching 500 subscribers. If I reach 500, then YouTube will start giving me the AdSense that I've earned. So thanks very much, guys. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you did that. Thanks. Okay, so let's get into the guide. Chapter 1 here is going to be all about movement techniques on Vindicator. Vindicator's got a lot of cool movement techs that you can use. So you can see I can't jump up here, it's too tall for me. But I can use my dodge and jump with it at the top in order to jump even higher. And so I can get up that. No other class can do that except for Vindicator. There's a lot of cool spots you can use it. One of them is Coliseum, middle here. You jump and dodge at the same time, and then you hold W and you can get up there, and that way you can rotate quickly to mid without having to use a teleport. So the timing for that is a bit tricky. Basically you want to hit your jump key when you're at the top of your dodge, and that is what actually gets you up over that last little bit. The way to practice this best is if you are to go into the lobby here, and you can do your dodge jump, and if you see your glider come out, that means that you did it correctly. So you see here, okay, no glider came out, no, didn't do it. So we'll try it again here. Jump, dodge, and glide. So really good thing to practice there. I got one more movement tech here. You can also combine your jump with your Nomad's advance, and you press them at the same time, and that allows you to traverse terrain and cross gaps and do gap jumps like this. Movement is very key to surviving and staying alive on Guild Wars, and there's all kinds of advanced things that you can learn. I'm going to give you the basics, and then you can go and play around with some of them and see if you can find some others. Here's a more advanced one. This is pretty niche, but this is a super fun one, kind of advanced here. Look at this, hammer 3 onto the jump pad, and look at that, we do a little rocket jump. Very fun. There's lots more stuff. I've given you a few examples. Now go play around with them, run wild, see what you can find. So chapter 2 is going to be all about survival. Now, I firmly believe that staying alive is more important than doing damage, for the simple fact that dead people do no damage at all. So I always try to lead with survival first, because I think that that's where you should start if you're learning a class. Learn how to survive on it first, and then learn how to do the big damage combos. Now, a couple things for surviving on Vindicator. First and foremost, your blue legend, St. Victor on Alliance, is sort of your best friend when it comes to survival. You've got a lot of tools on here to survive, one of which being the Urn, the Elite. Now, a lot of people are a bit scared of this skill because it does a lot of stuff, but a very simple thing that you can do with it is just turn it on and turn it off, just like that. Just spam it. And now, as you can see, this is the only thing I'm casting, is just the Urn, and yet I'm healing. And this is a very short cooldown, and I can heal pretty much as I want. So you can use this to your advantage. You know, whenever you get a break in the action, you can step away, you can heal yourself and get a lot of healing out of this Urn just by spamming it. I'm keeping myself alive here against all these bots just from spamming the Urn. Now, another thing here is a lot of people don't realize that you actually get a nice heal from swapping from red to blue. So if you watch my bar here, when I swap, I get a nice heal and I get a nice regen as well on top. So that's another good way to survive. One more thing I'll call out as well is if you have the hammer equipped, you have a dark field on the 4. And when you shoot your hammers through the dark field, you see life steals popping up. So you'll steal life for all of those hits that you are throwing through this dark field here. So that's another good thing to call out, is to be mindful of that, and you can use that to your advantage to just get a nice steady trickling of healing. So one thing that is a do not of survival, so something you don't want to do, is kill yourself using impossible odds. This is something that I see a lot of new Revenants do. They use impossible odds to the point that they don't have a stun break, and so they can't get away. I highly recommend, for the period in which you are learning, for the period in which you're a beginner, don't use impossible odds much if at all. You've got a lot of really strong skills here on Alliance, so now I'm not going to use Impossible Odds. You've got a lot of really strong skills on Shiro here, and you don't want to use all of your energy just casting Impossible Odds, because, I mean, okay, so you did a little bit of extra damage, but you died. Like, at the end of the day, what's more important is that you survived, not that you did, 20% extra damage in that team fight. So I really recommend, instead of wasting all your energy on Impossible Odds, use it to cast Jade Winds, or Reposting Shadows, or Phase Traversal instead. That's going to be a better way for you to spend your energy that will leave you with some energy to use on staying alive instead of just doing all damage all the time. So keep that in mind. Try not to use Impossible Odds too much. So everybody's got their own play style, and you will develop yours as you play. But typically how I like to start a fight is I like to engage on the Red Alliance stance with my hammer equipped. Now that allows me to get some safe chip damage from range that can allow me to start the fight on the upper hand and whittle the enemy down, and hopefully we can get him to a point where he's vulnerable, that I can go in for a big burst and finish him off. So how I typically accomplish that is you can use your Spear of Archimedes to get damage from range. You can use Scavenger Burst as well to get damage from range. Every single hammer skill is included in that. So typically, when I'm starting a fight with somebody, I put out the Spear, Scavenger Burst for a little bit of chip damage, and either they get hit with that spear or they waste a dodge. Either way, we are up, we are winning, and then we can just get some more safe damage, and then once he's softened up, once your opponent's softened up, you can swap to Assassin and finish the kill. So that's a good way to essentially always start a fight on the upper hand, is to start with your range damage set. Now there's going to be times when you're not looking to take a even fight, a one-on-one. You're looking to end a fight. Your teammate is dueling with somebody, and you need to help them out. You need to end the fight, and so in that scenario, you can start on either weapon set. Either weapon set is totally fine, but you can, when you want to be crossing those big distances, assisting your team, Shiro is the way to go, especially for phase reversal. You can take a target and then teleport onto them, and then start to do your damage, just like this. And whittle them down, of course, using that spear, and just like that. So there's an example of how you can start a fight on either legend. And there's the time and place for either. That was one of the things when I was learning, okay, what do I start on? Which legend do I start on? Which weapon do I start on? That's my sort of general way of starting. You'll develop a playstyle, you'll figure out what you like, but typically for me, if it's an even fight, I like to start with Hammer and Alliance. If I'm plussing a teammate, then I will start on Assassin. So that's damage. Okay, so finally we are on to our fourth and final chapter here. We're going to do some commentary over this gameplay. I've got a couple quick games here to show you guys. So this first one, I just wanted to showcase how I start a fight. You see, I'm just looking where my team is going, starting on my defensive weapon set, and I want to take control of this cliff on Temple. So I can see the Ranger is pew-pewing, and I need to take him out of the fight in order for my team to win the mid-fight. So I'm on the duty of taking care of this cliff here with the idea of making it so that my team is not taking constant damage from the top. That's how often these games will go. Vying for control over the cliff will get you control over the mid-fight. Now for our next clip here, I wanted to show an example of me doing something bad. I'm using Impossible Odds, and I died for it there. That goes back to my example of don't overuse Impossible Odds. In that clip there, I was using it mindlessly, and I got CC'd, and I couldn't stun break, and so I died because of it. Now, this is the same game. We've come back for another stab at the Lord. This is a very silly meme tactic here. You don't typically want to go for the Lord, but in the pre-game, we decided that was a strategy we were going to go for as sort of a fun thing. We were just going to go for the Lord. I don't recommend this. This isn't a really legitimate strat, but it can be super fun as just sort of like a bit of a joke. So anyways, Lord's dead. Some defenders come to take them out, and I'm with a teammate here, so we're 2v3. Quick Jade to do some CC, and we're just giving some chip damage out. And as you can see, I'm being a lot more cautious with my impossible odds now, and I really want to get this Jade off. I think I've been interrupted 3 times trying to cast this damn Jade, so I just make some space here. And I go back into chip damage mode. See, I'm going from far away, but oh my goodness, huge damage to the hammer too, so now I can go in a little bit aggressive again, and I can try and get some damage on this vert, but there's one behind me at the same time, and this vert ahead of me, I think I can get him, but oh, I got outplayed there. He has big damage, and I didn't respect him enough. Luckily, he used his whole burst on me, and so he had nothing left to stop the res, so I get the res. But now I know that, okay, I need to respect this guy, especially when he's got another Mesmer alongside him, so we're making space here because they're getting respawns. We're moving back away, just getting defensive, getting some health, and back into chip damage mode here. But I see my teammate gets a nice burst on him, so I move in and I go aggressive. The time warp bubble goes up. You don't want to be in that. That'll slow you. It's horrible. So you want to get out of that crap. So we go back away for a little bit here and just let that run out. And now we're putting some damage back in again. And we're looking to see if we can identify where my teammate's going. I happen to know this teammate. He's quite aggressive, so I'm going to try and back him up. He wants this guy, so I'm going to come just put a little bit of damage on him. But the real scary one, Mr. Big Damage, is back behind me, so I'm going to turn around, put some damage back into him, and a perfectly timed hammer 2 right in the middle of his CC puts him down, or in the middle of his heal rather. So that was a really good 2v2 there, and I've escaped the Lord kill successfully. And so now we're just taking control of the map. We're up on the scoreboard after being down for quite some time. We're going to see about mid. I don't really love the idea of dueling a Condi warrior, but a nice Jade successfully secures the kill for me there. We're going to move on to the next video. This one, this is a greatsword and staff gameplay. You'll see the hammer a lot on my channel because I quite like the hammer, but you know, the staff isn't a bad pick. It's a little bit more defensive. You have that Condi cleanse, you have a nice evade and the CC on there. It's not a bad pick. I happen to prefer the hammer, but the nice thing about Rev is that there's a lot of viable weapons. You know, you can do dual swords or you can do greatsword. You can mix a short bow in there if you like. I don't particularly like the short bow, but I can name a couple Vindicators that are a hell of a lot better than I am who quite like the short bow. So now we've identified the target here. We want to get the Revenant because he is a power Revenant just like myself, so he's going to be pumping the big damage, and we don't want to be allowing him to do so. So we're going to try and keep him down. He's at least out of the fight right now. He's not dead, but he is out of the fight. My port bugs because he's so close to that planter. So we're going to see if we can get a kill elsewhere here. We're going to secure this real quick. Put some cleave down. Sadly, he gets the banner. I think we've got 2 enemy warriors, so they're going to be spamming those banners till the cows come home. At this point, we are just trying to get some sort of a kill. They're a very tanky team comp. I get outskilled there. The enemy warrior perfectly times his arcing slice for the end of my dodge. Very well played by him there, but he's out of skills, and I am able to secure the kill finally. Now, my teammate has run away from this duel against this Ellie. This is a terrible, terrible duel for me to take, but I decided to try it anyways. Maybe because I had the staff, I was feeling like I could, you know, have the tankiness to contend with this. But I would never ever recommend dueling a Weaver or any kind of Ellie with a hammer while you're on power rev. It's just not an advisable thing to do. But there's a term for this. It's called ego dueling. It's when you think that you can outskill them even though your build is not as strong. Unfortunately, I'm going to say that's what I'm doing here. I'm doing a little bit of ego dueling. He has a ridiculous amount of barrier. I'm going to try and let that barrier run off. And now, I got him about 40, but he's got a block up, so I'm going to wait and put some damage in here. Go Assassin, get some big damage. He CCs me very nicely. So now we're just looking for an opportunity to secure the kill. I've got a friend here. So it looks like he's on the back foot. I'm going to see if I can maybe get him. And there we go. Nice fat damage on the dodge. Puts him down. Grab this stomp. So although that duel is not something I'd recommend you take, it did end up playing out favorably for me. However, you ask yourself the question, would it have been better if I was at mid, helping my team, laying down big damage? And the answer to that question is most likely yes. So let's see this. The spear into the dodge, and then back it up with some big damage with the greatsword, and very quick kill on the necro. That's what you like to see. So there's a little bit of a thinker for you. You know, although I won the duel, probably wasn't the best way to play that. Okay, so next game here, we are on full fire, approaching mid. Got my greatsword out. We've got a target picked here, so I'm going to go right aggressive mode, and we're going to try and squash that target, and it works. Now I'm caught in a DH cage here, so I am in a little bit of pressure, but I'm pretty far back, and it looks like my teammate is the one that's getting targeted. They have kind of swung this fight back around. I'm very low on anything at this point, so here I'm just practicing, you know, my survival, my sustain. I'm spamming the urn, just trying to stay alive, shake some of these condies off. You don't have the very best of condi cleanse on Vindicator, so condies can be bad for you. Big hammer damage. We absolutely drop the nuke and get 2 kills there, coming back in. So that was a really good job by my teammate there on the node of surviving. So we're going to skip ahead. So I'm coming up to my Spellbreaker, who's got 2 enemies here, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a perfect opportunity for me to plus him. So I dodged some damage, and I put a Jade in, trying to get some interrupts and help him out here. But I happen to have played a few games with this Spellbreaker, and he types in the chat there, I'm tank. So that's his way of telling me he actually doesn't want that plus. And you know what? That's going to happen every now and again. Sometimes you're going to have teammates who are really, really confident or really, really tanky, who actually don't want the help. They'd rather take the 2v1. And the reason being, if they're 2v1, the rest of the whole map is going to be 4 versus 3. You're going to be having a favorable fight on the rest of the map. So there's going to be some times, of course, when you're going to want to help that teammate out. But there's also going to be some times when you actually just want to let them play, even if they're outnumbered. It's totally fine sometimes. So you see, the mine node is contested, but the rest of the map is controlled by us. So he's dueling them, he's fighting them, he's 2v1 on the mine node. But we're able to basically own the rest of this map because of the fact that he's over there 2v1. The rest of us are fighting outnumbered in a favorable position. So, you know, you got to kind of pick up on context clues, and it helps to kind of know some of the people as well that you'll be seeing in your games, and know, okay, this guy, he's probably not going to want to plus. Or, you know, what you can do as well is at the start of the game, you can even just ask your duelist, like, hey, do you want me to plus you, or do you want me to just let you play? Oftentimes, the less confident duelists will accept your pluses, and the more confident duelists don't really want them. They'd rather just take their opportunity to 2v1 and allow you to win the mid fight and the team fights, because, you know, as a Vindicator, you're not a duelist, you're a DPS. Your job is to secure the team fights, secure the big damage, get some kills, that sort of thing. Your job is not to worry about the side nodes, really. So, okay, we're dueling a DH here, and he plays a little too heavy for the node, and because of that, he's not really dodging any of my damage. He just wants to go on the node. So I get the pretty sweat-free kill there. And now I'm just kind of assessing the map. I see that there's swords on the waterfall. Again, take a quick look. No, it's just my teammate capping. And turn around. Okay, we've got the necro here. Teammate lands a huge chicken on him. And so we're going to see if we can secure this kill. I'm a bit of a noob. I missed my skills, but luckily he goes down very shortly after when I have my teleport up. Okay, now the enemy DH comes in, but we're already putting cleave on that down body, so he ends up eating a lot of the cleave. And oh, I love Dragon's Maw. Good times. Okay, so moving on. My friend the Spellbreaker is still hanging out on far, still surviving. Our Dragon Hunter went to far and died, so that was a bit of a misplay on his part. He kind of failed to read the context clues given by our duelist that he doesn't want a plus. So because of that, he ended up dying. Now, we're trying to keep them busy elsewhere. It would really be bad if we were to let the enemy 5v1 and completely crash on our Spellbreaker and basically drop a nuke on him and take him off the map. So we want to pull the rest of the map, the rest of the enemies, away from him. And so that's what me and my my Mesmer here are doing at this point. We're just poking around. We're not really planning for any node, but we're just keeping them occupied and keeping them away. Sadly, my Mesmer falls to the Reaper, who does a lot of damage. I think that's a Power Reaper. And despite not seeing much play, it's still very scary. So now you're going to see me going full survival mode here, using my mobility, using my movement to get away, spamming my urn a little bit for some extra healing. I probably could have spammed a little bit more. Oh, there we go. And, uh-oh. That's 3 people, and I am just 1 guy, so I'm going to run away here. Sadly, I get caught. I'm in big trouble. I've got my block from the Greatsword, luckily. I've got 1 more dodge in me, and I can get a movement skill off. My friend gets a nice kill here, but I'm still being followed. Turn around, look at that. There's the Reaper still, but luckily he overextends, and I get a nice fat hit on him, putting him down. And that's just about going to win us the game, if you look at the scoreboard. So that's something to consider when you're playing alongside your duelists. You're wanting to plus them, you're wanting to roam around the map. You know, sometimes they want it, sometimes they don't. And both are valid, and it's your job to decide, or it's your job to play it correctly, and it's your job to understand what your duelist wants. So that's going to be the end of the game here. Fairly high-ish rated game, couple nice top stats there, healing kills, and let's see, that puts us up to mid-plat 1. So that's a good game, and that's going to be the end of our gameplay. Alrighty, so that is a wrap on guide number 2, how to play Vindicator. I hope everybody enjoyed watching that. I was overwhelmed by the support of my first guide, the How to Play Herald guide. The response to that was so great that I knew that I had to make another guide. This time around, I tried to take my time a little bit more, put a little bit more thought and polish into everything. Right now, I'm just going off the cuff. But yeah, I appreciate everything, all the response, all the comments, all everything from my last guide. And I hope that you guys can see the extra work that I put into this one. Apologies for asking for, you know, subscribers or whatever at the start, but you know, I get ads on my videos, and they're not controlled by me. They're controlled by YouTube, and I don't get anything off them, and I just don't feel that's fair. So I'd like to hopefully hit 500 subscribers. I'm in no rush to do so, but that's my current goal, and I hope to work towards that. And it'd be great if you enjoyed the video. You could help me out with that goal. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. You know, if you've watched this far, then you've done a great thing for the channel, because YouTube loves watch time right now, and that's the new thing. So anyways, I'll quit rambling, wrap this up. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next week.